ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Bhagavad Gita, the seventh chapter, and we have been revising it, and we told you that I'll be able to complete it during my last talk, but somehow or other, talkative that I am, I couldn't complete it. But it's a blessing in disguise. We have another occasion to appreciate the excellence of the teaching of the Bhagavad Gita. And I will not tire out myself, nor shall I feel bored to repetitively place before you from various perspectives some of the main themes and main teachings of the Bhagavad Gita. As I told you, when I complete the seventh chapter, I'll summarize all these 7 chapters in 2 talks or 3 talks. You will understand then how to live in this world without being attached and involved with it. You live in this world, but you do not belong to it, just like a swan which lives in a water, but the water has no capacity to wet its feathers. You will be taught to live in this world in such a manner. You will be in God, you will be with God, you live for the sake of God, and you will do so by the compassionate blessings of God. Your life will rotate around the awareness of presence of God. At the same time, you will be performing all your so-called duties of life. How do you perform? Dhyana yoga, the meditative one in isolation, and karma yoga, a meditative life in intense activity where you'll be taught how not to get involved. The activity is intense but uninvolved. This is the secret. We'll come to that when we come to that. Now today, dear, I have to cover the last shloka only. But I had told you beforehand, from 24th shloka to the 30th shloka, these 7 shlokas are a compact information which converts into education. It again points to instruction, and that instruction leads to what will happen to you, description. So let me start quickly from the 24th, and I'm sure I'll be able to complete the 7th chapter today. What does the 24th shloka say? 24th shloka says that the incarnations, when they are born, hardly anybody, apart from a chosen few, who have arrived in the scene because the incarnation has brought them along. Through them, the incarnation will start preaching to the world And when he disappears, the legacy will be left behind by the direct disciples. That is the game plan of Avatara. The concept of avatar or incarnation, that is the game plan. Now, we have been told, and it is a fact of history, we cannot deny existence of Rama in point of time, though it is still in domain of mythology beyond history, but Sri Krishna is now in the domain of history because advancement of archaeological sciences, carbon dating and etc., has exclusively proved that Krishna was born and he had his kingdom in Dwarka. And as he prophesied that Dwarakapuri was engulfed by maybe a tsunami or a storm or a swelling of the ocean, it is now in the bed of the Arabian Sea, close to Kutch and Bhuj. So Krishna is now a historical figure. So is Abraham, so is Moses, so is Buddha, so is Christ, Ramanuja, Shankara, Muhammad, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and Sri Ramakrishna. They are facts in history, and they are still living, throbbing, vibrating entities. The devotees of those personalities, spiritual personalities, even today they are blessed by their wonderful spiritual visions. To prove to those devotees they still exist, not in a gross human form, but in a subtle human form. People do have their visions. Ishvara Darshana, that is vision of God, the way I want to see Him. But the fact of it is, when they are alive, when they are living in the human society, and they are spreading the message of love, fellow feeling, and tolerance, forbearance, forgiveness, graciousness, softness, sweetness, when they are propagating that, hardly any mortal recognizes them. Sometimes they go to the extent of saying he's a hypocrite, he's a sham show. He's showing off, he's nothing of that sort. We can teach him a lesson. And I will give you an example from Sri Ramakrishna's life. Such examples are available in almost all the incarnations' life. Let me say one from Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna used to live in Dakshineshwar, but he used to very frequently visit Calcutta, and his parlor in Calcutta was Balaram Bose's house. And Balaram Bose used to be the promoter or the organizer and used to collect devotees from well-placed people and etc. so that those well-placed people, when they know who Sri Ramakrishna is, their words will be accepted by others. So they used to have a so-called parlor meeting, a satsang, at Balaram Babu's house. There, the gentlemen were in the open and the ladies were behind, what do you call them?
Screen.
Blinds. They used to sit behind blinds with plenty of holes. They could not be seen properly, but through those holes, they could see everything. That was the parda system. Women were isolated from male gaze. And Sri Ramakrishna, in his own spiritual ecstasy, used to dance, used to sing, used to talk, used to interact, used to share meals with all of them. Now always, the society has a group of moral beings, highly moral beings. They are the keepers of society's conscience. They are the keepers of fair play and morality. There are always a group of people. At that time, when Sri Ramakrishna used to visit frequently, the horse-driven cart used to stand on the main road, and Sri Ramakrishna has to walk through small little lanes, hardly 2 meter or 1.5 meter wide, and sharp corners of the houses. Many sharp corners, and then he used to come to Balaram Babu's house. A group of youngsters, those who thought Sri Ramakrishna, in the pretext of being religious and spiritual, is enjoying ladies' company, dancing, singing, music and all that. He is a hypocrite of the first water. And we know how to teach a hypocrite a lesson. We give him a good thrashing one day and all that will disappear. They are the keepers of morality of the society, self-imposed. So one day they had planned 2 boys starting at the first corner, peeping from that corner, and they whistled to others that Ramakrishna has alighted from the horse cart and he is now walking down the lane. So all was organized at a broader corner, not to be seen until unless Sri Ramakrishna takes a sharp turn, a blind corner. They are there with hockey sticks, with baseball bats and other sticks to give a thrashing to Sri Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna in his own way came on, and all of a sudden they surrounded him and started abusing him with the most profane language before getting excited to beat him. This was the first item of the menu, as it were. Sri Ramakrishna looked at them and with a very, very childlike, simple, innocent smile, "Oh dear me, I know you have all gathered here to teach me a lesson and thrash me so that my hypocrisy disappears and I stop this sham show." He uttered everything that was working in their mind. All that morality and keepers of morals disappeared. They were scared. Who is this man? He has read all of our mind in totality. Oh dear me. They ran away for their lives. This is the incident. I start with an incident. Generally speaking, those chosen few that the incarnation decides to bring along with him, born in various places and families, they are the chosen people who start as a human with respect, veneration, love, adoration, admiration, and slowly that attitude unfolds in them to appreciate who this person is, not in totality, but to quite an extent where respect and veneration, adoration and admiration saturates them. Here, in the 24th shloka, Sri Krishna incarnation himself, he is saying, though we have heard about Avataravad, the incarnations, history proves it, we can't deny it, they are facts of life. Even then, Sri Krishna is saying, Abhyaktam Vyaktimapanyaha. Abhyaktam Vyaktimapanyaha Manyante Mamabuddhayaha Param Bhavam Ajananta Mama Abhyayam Anuttamam. This is the verse. What does the verse say? Sri Krishna says, there are many, numerous people in this world. He has used plurals everywhere. They say, these people, they have no idea how that eternal absolute, that reality, that Lord God of the universe, how he could be contained in a frail human form. It is beyond their capacity of understanding. Abuddhaya. Buddhaya is plural. Abuddhi is a singular. From the singular manner, a person, Abuddhaya means person without that understanding, numerous, many, plural. That Param Ishvara has been born in this finite human form, has assumed this form. Under no circumstances they are unable to understand this simple fact of life. Abhyaktam, that absolute unmanifested reality, how he manifests in a frail human form, it is beyond the intellectual capacity of the majority of people to understand this situation, this fact of history. Param bhavam ajananta. Mama param bhavam ajananta. I am that absolute. I am born in this human body. This supreme concept is not available to them, and they do not understand this excellence, this super excellence. Param bhavam ajananta mama abhyayam anuttamam. Anuttamam is something which cannot be excelled, unpassable, unsurpassable excellence. That is why you, me, and etc., we have a doubt. Who is she? Who is he? He is as good as me in a human form. How could all-pervasive God, limitless God, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient God, how could he be contained in this form? Most of the people, numerous people, they are incapable of understanding this. Essence of the 24th shloka. I hear this, you hear this, and you say, why so? Why is it that I do not understand him? And if I want to understand him, what have I to do? Commonsensical, nothing spiritual. God says, numerous people do not understand me, the divine, the supreme being, in a frail human form with all physical weakness and etc. And he proclaims himself to be unexcelled supreme being. Why don't I understand? What is the reason? The 25th shloka. Naham prakasha sarvasya. I do not manifest myself to all and sundry. Sarvasya means to all and sundry. I do not manifest myself to all and sundry. How come I see you and you say you don't manifest yourself? Yoga Maya Samabritaha. I envelop myself. I cover myself up with my Maya Shakti. What does it mean? I see the form of Avatara according to my understanding. I see him in a human frame. I see he has so many human qualities, but his true, real, original nature is enveloped by his Maya Shakti. He does it himself. And he says, I don't manifest myself to all and sundry. I cover myself up to all and sundry. I only open myself up to a handful. Thereby, what does it mean? Thereby it means, could you tell me how to be one of those handfuls where this Yogamaya Samabrita Roop is no more there? I can see you as you are, as an avatara. This is the main idea of the shloka. He wants to raise in you this question, oh, is this so? You say you don't show yourself to all and sundry. That means you have some people whom you show your face. Do you? If so, could you teach me how to be one of those handfuls? This is the inner meaning of the shloka. Grammatical meaning, literal meaning, encyclopedia meaning will not give you the idea. This is instructive part of it. He says, Aham na prakasha sarvasya. I don't manifest myself. I don't show myself off to all and sundry. I cover myself up. What does it mean? What is he covering? I see him. I see him in the form. But what is covering? He is covering up his anuttamam param abhyayam bhava. Unexcelled, immutable reality. He is the reality. He has covered it up. Mura ayam na bhijanati loka maham ajam abhyayam. Mura, those who are confused and confounded, they do not under no circumstances, abhijanati, however they may try, they will not know mam, ajam, abhyayam. That aspect of mine. That aspect of mine is, I am birthless, I am deathless, I am beyond time, I am beyond change, I am immutable, infinite, eternal reality. They will see me as a human. They will not be able to understand my true original nature. But he knows that we are eager to know from him. So he says now, in the 26th shloka, he says, what is the difference between you and me, you know? He's giving you a catch. What is that? The catch is, he says, you and me, we are both in a human form, in a human body. Agreed? Yes, sir. You are also born a human. I am also a human. He says, now listen carefully. What is the distinction between you and me? Qualitatively distinction. What is the distinction and quality? Let us start with you first. What is your area of knowing? Whatever has passed, very few important incidents has a lingering memory which fades away. But you have it. You don't remember your past in totality. What to speak of your past lives which you do not know, even in this life you do not remember. In the present life, what is the area of your knowledge? Perception through your 5 sense organs and the conceptual knowledge that arises from it. Gravitation, electricity, this. Conceptual knowledge. As far as the future, nothing is known to you. Not only that, what is behind you is not known to you. Because your eyes don't go there. Your ears don't go there. So, your knowledge is totally limited by time and space. But me, samatitani aham veda. I know, I remember, I know everything of your past. Your past I know. Sri Krishna is saying, Veda aham samatitani. Aham samatitani Veda. I know it thoroughly, samyak. Some in totality, in completeness, in integrity. I know your past totally, past of the whole cosmos. Vartamani cha Arjuna. Vartamanani cha Arjuna. Hey Arjuna, I know whatever is happening in the whole cosmos. Bhavishani cha bhutani. And what will happen to this manifested cosmos in future? Bhavishani. Lekin, but Mantu Veda Nakashana. Nobody will be able to know me in my totality. I know everything in totality. You wanted to know what is the difference between this body and that body. Shuddha Sattvic Bhagavati Tanu of an Avatara. Absolutely pure to the each cell. That is Bhagavati Tanu of Avatara. That is why immaculate conception is an accepted fact of life. God wills to be born and He is born. He is not born like us through biological activity. No. He is born by His will. He says, my body and your body, they appear to be the same. But He who resides in this body, He knows everything, the past, the present, the future, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient, divine. Nobody ever knows me looking at this body who resides in this body. He is describing to us that until and unless we fulfill certain conditions, we will not be able to realize who he is, who an avatara is in reality. Move on to the 27th shloka. Ichha desha samuthena dandha mohena bharata sarvabhutani sammoham sarge janti parantapa. Hey Arjuna, hey Parantapa, what is happening do you know? I will explain to you. Why can you not understand and why I do understand? What for? He says, look, Ichha dvesha samuttena, liking and disliking. From this liking and from this disliking, we create a world of our own while living in this world. And we keep on swinging in between them and desiring this and not desiring that. Acceptance with joy, avoidance with pleasure. No. This is how my life goes on. Ichha, dvesha, samuttena. It arises from. What arises? Dvandha, dual throng, two extremes. And sarvabhutani sammoham janti iha sarge. In this world, iha sarge, here itself, in this world, ordinary people, their life is spent in pursuance of this worldly desire, which is nothing else but a swinging of a pendulum between pleasure and pain, likes and dislikes. And they are totally deluded by this. They have no time, no energy, no attention to give towards me to find who I am. That is the reason why you don't understand me. So is this the last word? I'll ever remain denied of this pleasure? Is this the last word, sir? That I'll remain where I am and I'll never be able to know you? The word of hope and word of instruction comes in 20th shloka. Jesham tu antagatam papam, Jesham antagatam papam, jananam punna karmanam, tve dandha moha nirmukta, bhajante mam dridhabrata. Te dandha moha nirmukta, bhajante mam dridhabrata. This is where we stop. This is where instruction is coming. I have heard what is the difference between Avatar Purusha, Sakshat Ishvara, and Jiva, I am. I have understood my life is so involved here that I have no time, no energy to go there. So am I to be condemned all my life? Is there no escape for me? Wouldn't you help me to find out a way to reach you, sir? Are you so heartless? Are you so compassionless? Wouldn't you teach me how to reach you? 20th shloka tells you what you should do to reach God. Jesham antagatam papam. those who have washed themselves clean out of the very concept of mistakes, errors and sins. Now here I would like to use a word that Swami said. Swami Vivekananda used to say, don't speak about sin and sinning and sinner. That is very depressing. That is not correct. We grow from lesser truth to greater truth. We are all journeying towards that. I have fallen a little behind. I can run and catch up. Don't think of sin and sinner. But this book was written when the concept of Papa and Punna was very, very, very prevalent. Now, according to Vedanta philosophy, which Swamiji propounded, Papa and Punna has changed its meaning. What is that? Whichever thought, whichever act, whichever deed, physically, mentally or egoistically, which does not lead you to God is sin, Papa, lesser truth. And that which leads you to God is Punna, greater truth, virtue. So here's an occasion, dear, for us to renew our thinking, change our attitude to these old words. Jesham antagatam papam, first quarter of the verse. Those who have washed themselves clean of the concept of sin. What is that sin? Performing those acts and deeds physically, emotionally, rationally, egoistically. Those deeds which take me away from God. People, those who have got rid of that habit totally. How do they get there? Jananam, people, punna karmanam. They keep on remembering God every moment of their life. Their whole life rotates around being one with God through serving Him. Karma Yoga. The whole life flows, but it flows rotating around the awareness of the divine. So, process of divinizing has started to transform the egocentric existence into the divine. He is describing, but you as a student, you must be alert what is hidden in this description, in this creation of a literary sentence. What is hidden? He says, Punna karma jananam antagatam papam. So he tells me how to get rid of that concept of papa, that is lesser truth attached to the world, thinking it is real. No, convert your life into an endless interaction through service of God. That's it. Jananam punna karmanam antagatam papam. They have jesham jananam. Those people who by performing these virtuous deeds, what is that virtuous deed? To be aware and to perform the duties of life dedicated to my God and nobody else. Whether it is teaching, preaching, dancing, music, cooking, gardening, dividing, everything, physical, emotional, rational, egoistically involved. Whatever you do with the awareness of presence of God all the time. So those people who have practiced this in their life, their attachment to lesser truth disappears and they become capable of seeing the reality. How do they see that reality? Those people, ye and they, those who and they who, having achieved Dandha Moha Nirmuktva, that dual throng of pleasure and pain which binds me down to this world, they have verily Nirmukta, not only they have liberated themselves, they have liberated themselves in such a manner that the bondage will never come back. Nirmukta. Te Dandha Moha Nirmukta Bhajante Mam Dridabrata. They get hold of me with such a dedication, devotion, determination, unwavering willpower, nothing but God in my life. They bhajante, they worship me, they develop an emotional relationship with me. You are my mother, mother for all times to come. Previous lives and this life, because you are Parama Prakriti, you are Adya Shakati, you are Mahamaya Swarupini, Vishwa Janani, Jagat Janani. You are mother to all, and I am your son. That's it, nothing more. Te Dandha Moha Nirmuktva. They have practiced it so well that bandhana will never come back again. Why? Because they are so busy with God all the time, there's no space left for anything to intrude upon you. I will give you a small example. Let me explain this to you. Te mang dridabrata bhajante. Dridabrata. Drida is unshakable. Brata is discipline. With unshakable, unwavering, determined, devoted, dedicated. All these things put together, they hold on to me with an unshaken, unwavering willpower, disciplined. What is happening? You are so busy, there's no space left for anything to enter. House is full. There's no accommodation left. All tickets have been sold. The house is full. Even if you want to come in, you don't have space enough to come in. That happens to your mind. Your mind gets so busy with the awareness of presence of God that there's no space anywhere in your mind for any other idea to enter. This is an instruction how to know God in itself, how to be one with God so that you know Him as your true original nature. Today it is a sacrilege to say, I am the divine. It is a sacrilege to say so. But in this lifetime, you can proclaim, I have become one with my God. I have no separate existence. This Mr. So-and-so has disappeared. That is what will happen to you. So here is, dear, the instructive part of it. Vijisham antagatam papam jananam punna karmanam te dandha moha nirmuktva mam bhajante dridhabrata. That is what it is. Now we come to the 29th shloka. Jara marana mokshaya mam asritya jatanti je te brahma tadviduhu krishnam adhyatmam karma cha akhilam. They know in totality the whole world. What does he mean? He means that, look, having developed that unshakable conviction about the presence of God, they develop an unshakable conviction about the presence of God, and that has led to an emotional affinity, proximity, identity between me and my God. So what is happening? Slowly and slowly and slowly, I am being saturated by the awareness of the presence of the Divine. That is what is happening to me. And I am tired of this worldly life. I would like to enjoy eternal life with my Maker in heaven. Shed of all this, I would like to enjoy eternal life with my God in heaven. How do I do so? I identify myself with my true original nature, Sat Swarup, Chit Swarup, Ananda Swarup Atma, which is the nature of Brahma. Nitya Suddha Buddha Mukta Svabhavana Brahma Satchidananda Swarupam Atma. Atma and Brahma are not different. Looking at subjectively it's Atman, looking at objectively it is Brahman. Jara Marana Mokshaya. I am tired of this unending farce. Therefore, Mam Ashritya Jatanti Je, those who take shelter in me and they make total effort not to deviate from that attitude of being sheltered under the grace of God. He is always there protecting me. Jara Marana Mokshaya Je Jatanti. They make a back-breaking, endless effort to take shelter under the benign, compassionate, gracious guidance of God. Nothing but God in my life. What is it? He's asking you to practice this so that you can reach Him. Jara Marana Mokshaya Je Mam Ashritya Jatanti. Those who take shelter under me and they do not spare themselves at all. They work very, very, very hard to manage themselves and manage it in such a way they take shelter under me. To be very, very clear, dear, shelter under me means I am now today being guided by my ego. And that ego is being motivated by my unfulfilled desires which I want to fulfill. That is why I am told I am an egoistic person. I follow the dictates of my ego. It has such a hold on me. For me to say, I know nothing, my Lord God of the universe has taken care of me. Let him look after me. I just sit here and pray to him. If he wants, I'll have something to eat. If he doesn't want, this body will wither away. But I am holding on to him. Dridhabrataha, this is a manifestation of Dridhabrata. So he says, Je mam ashrita jatanti, they, in the long run, what is the result of this effort? Te Brahma Vidu, Te Brahma Tat Vidu, Krishnam Adhyatmam, Karma Chakiram. They are bestowed with 3 blessed avenues of wisdom. Vidu is a verb attached to Brahma Vidu, Krishnam Adhyatmam Vidu, and Karma Chakilam Vidu. Madhya Dvipika Naya, 1 lamp illuminating 3 rooms. What happens to them if they practice this? Jara Marana Mokshaya Mam Ashrita Jatanti De. Then Bhajante Mam Dridhabrata. That has been said before. All that put together. Where do they reach? They experience oneness with Brahman. They experience oneness with Brahman. They experience all the intricacies of being a jiva, an egoistic human. How that egoistic human slowly and slowly evolves into the divine, it is known to them thoroughly well. And karma chakilam, that is, during our lifetime, we perform so many activities physically, emotionally, rationally, guided by our ego, motivated by our unfulfilled desires. This is the chain. They know everything in totality. This is what is being said. That is, what you will achieve having been informed. You educate yourself, follow the instructions. When you follow the instructions in totality, totality means total saturation of your samskara, your antakarna, the personality, the inner being. When it is totally saturated, your process of being and becoming transforms into you have become that. And what is that? He has not yet told you. He is preparing the ground of the concept of Akshara Brahma, that immutable absolute. How it could be brought down to the domain of words, and the words convey ideas. How it can be brought down is a subject matter of the 8th chapter, Brahmakshara Yoga. He is introducing that 8th chapter in the last shloka. Sadhi Bhuta, Sadhi Dvaivam, Mam Sadhi Jagyam Chaje Vidu, Prayana Kale Picha, Mang Te Vidur Jukta Chetasha. This closes the 7th chapter. What does he say? Adhi Bhuta Sahita, Adhi Daiva Sahita. Adhijagya Sahita. A person who remembers these three catch points, and while they cast off this body, in the process of dying and disintegrating, they hold their mind without any deviation on that, the eternal reality. They reach me. This is the ends, blessings of the 7th chapter. Sadhi Bhuta. Bhuta means manifested world, perceptible by your 5 sense organs. He who resides in that, Adhibhuta. Adhidaiva, in the domain of ideas and concepts, which is a matter of energy in a fluid form. Matter is energy in a gross form. Ideas and thought processes are energies in subtle form, and also energy in subtle form in this cosmos. That is Vidyuta, Kadvata, and so on and so forth. They are all manifestations of the divine. And what is Adhijagya? During my lifetime, I aspire and I act to achieve something. While doing so, I know I am worshipping a divine through this manifested form. Say, for instance, your broom is untied. You wash the broomsticks, you hold them together, you are tying. You are doing something, you are doing it for God. Adhijagya. God is present there. My activity, this broom, and all that is going, God is there. There's not a speck of space, not an iota of time where God is not. With this conviction in you, which you practice when your faculties are fully in bloom, with that you practice, you create a force of habit. While dying, all these faculties are withering away. They're getting weaker and weaker and weaker. But the force of habit that you have created when you are in the full bloom of your age, that force of habit stands by you. When everything is disintegrating, your mind holds on to the awareness of presence of the divine in the manifested material world, in the manifested world of ideas and energies, and in the world of activities of human endeavor. Everywhere. That encompasses the whole human world. We create our own world by our activities. That's a part and parcel of this cosmos, and He resides there. So he closes this chapter with 3 words: Adhibhuta, Adhidaiva, Adhijagya. And Arjuna is listening with his ears open. In the next shloka, Arjuna will start questioning. 2 verses is Arjuna's question. Sir, you said this, you said that, you said that. I don't understand. Would you kindly clarify? And God obliges him. He starts telling what is Adhibhuta, what is Adhidaiva, what is Adhijagya, and what is the totality of all that, Akshara Brahma. As far as it's possible, by suggestive words. So dears, we have completed the 7th chapter. As I told you, if you permit me, if you allow me, I would prefer I summarize from the first shloka to the end of the seventh shloka in 2 or 3 sessions, so that you know that in all these 18 chapters, Sri Krishna, incarnation of the divine, in a human form, in a human way, through languages and ideas, he is trying to teach you how you live in this world without getting involved into it. And you live in this world being saturated with the awareness of presence of God. All the 18 chapters will teach you from various different sources, various different perspectives. So I would love to revise, summarize the first 7 chapters in subsequent 2 or 3 Sundays, if you permit me. Thank you, dears. Thank you. God bless you.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.